Hello and welcome to the Eventual Knits podcast. My name is Leah. I use she, her pronouns, and you can find me on Instagram as Miss_LJV. If you are coming to this podcast for the very first time, welcome. I'm so happy to have you. If you are a returning viewer, wow, thank you for coming back. I am so happy to have you as a part of my community. It is 2021 and as most people tend to do, I'm thinking about what I want to do for the coming year. If you are interested in my year in review, please go find that video. It should be posted right before this. I will also include a link in the show notes and probably somewhere within this podcast. If it's not right here, it will be at the end in one of those little card things. But if you are here to hear about what are my plans for 2021, you are in the right place. So last year for 2020, for the first time ever, I did a Make 9. If you watched my year in review video, you'll know that I did terribly. And you'll also know that I don't care. That's okay. We have all these plans and it doesn't always work out the way that we thought they would, and that is perfectly fine. I'm very happy with that. The projects that I did end up making, I am satisfied with. One of them was one of my most favorite items ever, and that was the Luna Rising sweater. So I was thinking about, okay, if picking 9 specific projects and researching all of the yarns, I took all of the hard part out, other than of course creating the item, of my Make 9 by figuring out exactly what kind of yarn I wanted to use and what I would make the project with. I didn't have to figure out the size. I have it all right in my queue ready to go. If that didn't make me want to make that project, well, how could I be more successful this year in making projects? So I started making a list. I started putting things on the list of what do I want to make. And I realized it's not so much I want to make X specific thing necessarily. It's more like I want to make this type of thing. And it turns out, for the most part, this type of thing is sweaters. However, I still feel like even if I picked, let's say, 9 sweaters that I wanted to make in 2021, that it runs the risk of falling victim to the exact same thing that happened to me last year, where I pick items that I do want to make, but then new designs come out or I discover different designs than I had my eye on at that time, and I end up making that new thing. And I also did several test knits, and obviously I don't know those exist until I'm asked, do I want to make that thing? I also follow several people on Instagram who made a Make 9 for this year that either sort of made fun of the Make 9 concept or that were really vague. And I was like, you know what? I don't want it to be sort of a throwaway. I'm not making fun of Make 9s or, planning your year, because I think that it's really nice to be able to say, what do I want to make? So I thought about it a little more and I looked at my little list and I thought, what if I make a bingo card for the year? So I did just that. I made myself a bingo card of projects that I could or would want to make. I'm not trying to make it, of course, insanely difficult. The prize for winning bingo is that I made the projects that I wanted to make for the year. So I set out and I just wrote down 25 things that I want to make and a little bit of a challenge for myself as well. And I ended up with this little bingo card. On the screen is the bingo card that I designed, scrolling to reveal the projects I came up with. I put projects into squares based on categories and tried to split them up relatively evenly. I added some exact project styles, such as a temperature blanket, because I do want to make a temperature blanket for the year, but have not settled on a pattern yet. I do know that I want it to be crochet though. Since most of what I plan to make are sweaters, I included sweaters on several squares. However, instead of naming specific sweaters, I gave them labels such as festive sweater and cozy sweater, cotton linen sweater, which basically means summer sweater, and cardigan. Instead of just putting socks into a single square, I put socks for me, socks for Steve, and socks for someone else in their own squares. I also included techniques, projects featuring cables, lace, and colorwork. I added squares for a test knit and a test crochet, and I also included what I'm calling yarn qualities, such as mini skeins, self-striping, gradient, and mohair. There are spaces for a project from a new-to-me designer as well as a new-to-me technique. I also added squares for both indie dyed projects and big box projects because I think they are both valuable. As we continue scrolling down, we see spots for mittens, a hat, and a blanket or afghan. These projects are all doable for me, and I really think that they will be fun and successful in a way that a specific Make 9 with exact projects wouldn't be. So yeah, this is my 2021 project list in bingo card form. If I did it correctly, you just listened to a voiceover of me describing the different parts of the bingo card and the different columns and the kind of items that I want to make. What do you think of that idea? Do you think that's fun? Do you want to join me in making your own bingo card? I just used Google Sheets and I typed out the items within the window, within each cell, but if you want to join me or be a part of it, let me know and let's do it. You can use the same card that I have, or you can make your own for your own specific tastes, and we can check in. I don't know, I think that could be fun. At the very least, I think that this style of projects that I want to make are all valuable to me and all possible. So I think that this might lead me to be more successful than last year. I actually ended up making 25 projects exactly for 2020. So if I'm not doubling up on spaces, which I don't plan to, if I make 25 projects that meet each of those criteria and get a blackout, I will have extra one. So yeah, that is my 2021 Make 25, I guess. Let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know if you want to do the same thing with me. Additionally, this year for my channel, separately of what I'm going to be making, I actually plan on adding in some other videos just for fun. I think that yes, while there are a plethora of tutorial videos that exist online, I do think that sometimes people find it helpful to learn something from someone they know or trust. And I also know what I like in videos. So for example, most videos that I find that are tutorials spend like 100 years talking about, I don't know, what you need. Like, do you need this needle? I'm using this kind of yarn to show this technique, blah, 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 like talking. When I'm looking up a technique, I want you to get to the point. I want to immediately, like if I am asking, how do I graft? I just forgot. I just need a refresher. Just tell me how to graft. I want it to start right away. So I have some plans to do stuff like that. I have had actually a couple friends ask me to show them a technique. I'm thinking brioche and weaving in ends. Those are two big ones that have come up recently. And I just recorded quick little videos. One of them I actually did upload to YouTube. The other one I was able to send through iMessage. And so I think that there's value in that, even if a bunch of videos already exist. Someone might just appreciate the way that I do it differently. Additionally, there's always a lot of stuff going on in the knitting and crafting community and the larger or smaller world. And I think that it could be valuable to just have a video for, especially for people who don't know what's going on or they don't have their finger on the pulse of the current corner or the exact corner of the community that I exist in, because my experience in the knitting and crochet community might be very different from yours, and you might have very different circles that you run in. And so I think that it could also be helpful sometimes to break down certain topics or situations, or even just talking about yarn and projects. I don't know, I think that that could be helpful separate of a podcast, a more sort of focused, shorter video where I break something down or talk about it or give my opinion on it. I don't know. I think that that could be fun. Thank you so much for stopping by, and chatting with me about what I plan to do for 2021. Please feel free to let me know in the comments what you plan to do or what you think of my idea, and I look forward to having you on the journey with me as I make it through 2021. I'll see you again soon, guys. Bye.